Hey everybody, this is John and you're watching the Real Man Rom-Com Review. Boy, what a weekend this past weekend was. It was Thanksgiving and we had 11 movies from Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and Great American Family for the weekend of November 24th through 22nd. And let me tell you, it took me 6 days, but I finished the last one just before I started this review for you. In this video, I'm going to give you my bottom 7 movies for the week, and then in our next video, I'll give you my top 4 movies for the week of November 24th through 27th. Okay, the worst movie of the week was #XMAS, which aired Friday 11/25 on the Hallmark Channel. #boring, #painful, #poke my eyes out. Look, I was #done with this one by the first commercial break. #another fake relationship movie. This time, it was not going to get through the holidays, but to save a fledgling interior design business. Look, these characters are boring, and so is the story. I realized that as I was watching it that I don't even remember seeing commercials for this movie, so it made me think that even Hallmark knew that this wasn't going to be a very good movie. Look, this is hands down #worst Christmas movie 2022 so far. Now please do yourself a favor and #skip it. Number 10, A Tale of Two Christmases, which aired Saturday 11/26 on the Hallmark Channel. You ever wonder what would happen if you were able to see the path that each side of a decision would take you on? Well, for budding architect Emma, we get to see how things play out on a decision that she makes about her life. Now, while I was kind of into the premise of this movie, it was so back and forth that it left my head spinning. And look, just save yourself the headache and skip it. Number 9, and this is a shocker, A Christmas Present, which aired Sunday 11/27 on Great American Family. Now, look, I'm telling you, I am shocked I have to have this ranked so low on my list. But this was a total yawner, except for Mark Blucas, who was great in his dad role and had the best dad jokes, which were the highlights of the movie. There was also a great family scene around the campfire while they're making s'mores and singing and talking, which I thoroughly enjoyed. But this is supposed to be the Great American Family movie event of the Christmas season. So, look, I mean, after watching this movie, I now understand why so many of the other Great American Family movies have fallen flat for me. I mean, look, wholesome family movies are great and they have their place. But there was just little about this movie that gave me warm fuzzies. I mean, even the faith-based parts of the movie seemed forced and staged. So, anyway, it was my number 9 movie for the week. Number 8 was A Holiday Spectacular, which aired Sunday 11/28 on the Hallmark Channel. Now, Philadelphia mainliner Maggie should have the perfect rich girl life, but she dreamed of being a rockette since she was a kid. Auditions for the team are happening, and her friend encourages to go with her and try out. Maggie earns one of the 3 available spots after just one audition. Now, knowing her family wouldn't approve of her being in the Rockettes, Maggie comes up with a story that she needs to go to New York to work with a designer on her custom wedding dress for her marriage to boring old Bob. And while in New York, she meets John, whose family owns a bodega. And John dreams of being a photojournalist, but knows his family wants him to take over the bodega. The rest of the movie is the story of how Maggie and John find the strength to chase their dreams and find true love in each other, all while she performs 100 shows during the Christmas season. Now look, I liked the movie, but honestly, there was very little Christmas in the movie, and this story could have been done for Valentine's Day just as easily as it could have for Christmas. Now, we do get lots of scenes with the Rockettes in the movie, and the throwback to 1958 was fun, but when I was watching, I just couldn't help but think that this is the Hallmark version of Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Number 7, Christmas Cookie Catastrophe, which aired Sunday 11/28 on the Hallmark Channel. Now, Annie Cooper is made CEO of Cooper's Cookies when her grandmother passed. Now, the secret family recipe, which sits on the main floor of their office building in a plastic box on a pedestal, is stolen. Now, finding that a card for Bella's Bakery at the scene, Annie accuses Sam, the owner, of stealing the recipe. Now, knowing that he ultimately didn't steal the cookie, she ends up enlisting the recipe. He ends enlisting him to help her determine the secret recipe that before the board finds out what has happened and fires her. Now, look, I figured out the culprit of this caper pretty quickly, but I did miss the twist in the reveal at the end of the movie. Now, Rachel Boston trying to be a tough-as-nails CEO doesn't really work for me because she's just too bright and cheery of a person, and her personality just didn't fit. But we do get to see Victor Weber, all 6'3" of him, doing ballet, which was a high point in the movie. Now, there are some other moments of levity in the movie, and a lot of cookie baking and a lot of cookie eating. But overall, it was just an okay movie that was fun to have on in the background while you're decorating the tree or during your white elephant party. And number 6 was Christmas at the Drive-In, which aired Saturday, 11/26 on Great American Family. Now, Sadie is a former property law attorney who now teaches at the local college, and her friend takes her to Mendoza's tree farm, where we learn that the farm, along with many other businesses in the town of Bennington, New York, has been sold. And Sadie's friend wants her to take a look at the contract to see if she can help them, but Sadie declines. See, the tree farm, evidently there was some agreement on how the tree farm is going to be used, and the people that bought it aren't holding their end of the bargain. Well, Holden McCarthy, whose father ran the local drive-in until his recent death, is selling his drive-in to Excelsior, and they plan to build a distribution center on the land which will provide jobs and an economic shot to the community. And the drive-in's registered as a historic site, but hey, as long as the Historic Commission approves the sale, it's not going to be any problem, whatever. So while visiting the local museum in town, Sadie and Holden run into each other for the first time in 20 years. We discover that they were high school sweethearts and that Holden was Sadie's first kiss. Now, at the historic committee meeting, Sadie gives this inspiring speech about the drive-in is like Christmas. It provides a place where people can gather, feel a sense of community. And so, inspired by that, the committee grants her 3 weeks to show that the drive-in is a necessary part of the community. Now, Holden, even though he disagrees with that opinion, must provide a good faith effort at helping Sadie prove that the drive-in can be a viable part of the community. So Sadie and Holden are talking separately with each other about their old relationship. And Holden says he saw Sadie kissing another guy at the drive-in, while Sadie remembers being stood up by Holden. So attempts were made to contact each other, but ultimately they were ignored and they just drifted apart. Well, the first night at the drive-in saw snow and freezing temps and only 3 customers. Now, Miss Sadie talks with other drive-in owners in the north to figure out how do they, deal with the drive-in as a year-round place in the winter, and she finds some new things to do. Well, so Sadie reveals to Holden ultimately why she left law and Chicago because she lost this big case. And it cost a family their home, and then she also lost her boyfriend at the same time, and so she decided to tuck tail and come home. Now, Holden reveals that he watched his dad love a creation, which was the drive-in, that ultimately didn't love him back. And ultimately, he's torn about selling the drive-in. Business at the drive-in starts to respond to the changes that they're making, but it's really not enough to prove that the drive-in is an actual necessity. Sadie and Holden talk about that fateful night 20 years ago. And ultimately it seems that Sadie lent her jacket to a friend, and Holden saw that friend who was wearing Sadie's jacket macking on a boy at the drive-in. And Holden, in turn, because of what he saw, didn't meet Sadie at the truck where he was supposed to because, well, he thought she was cheating on another man with another man. And look, neither one of them bothered to say anything to each other about this. I mean, I'm sorry, but in our Jerry Springer world that we live in, there would have been fist fights between myself and the guy macking on the girl. It just would have been trouble. It is, anyway. So Kendra, who's buying the property, is sitting outside the drive-in one night, and she sees all this boost in activity. Well, she calls Holden and tells her that, asks if he isn't having second thoughts about selling the theater. And he says, liar. Anyway, Holden invites Sadie to the mayor's Christmas party, and at the party, Holden shows up stag. No, wait a minute, hold on. Now, he couldn't go pick her up to come to the party. I mean, oh, hell no, my wife would have, no way. But anyway, so Sadie shows up, and she's got this beautiful red dress on, and it takes Holden's breath away, and that old flame of theirs is just a roaring in their hearts. Well, anyway, they dance together and talk about their dreams and Christmas wishes. Well, Kendra arrives at the party and asks the smarmy mayor if he should be concerned that Sadie and Holden seem to be having such a good time together. Well, that good old smarmy mayor then tries to bribe another member on the committee for her vote by giving her outdoor seating at her place of business. Now, back at the drive-in, old smarmy mayor tells Holden that the committee has met earlier in the day and approved his sale of the land a week before they were supposed to actually meet. And of course, Holden is upset, especially when he finds out that smarmy mayor told Kendra about this vote. So Holden meets with Kendra to say he's really had second thoughts, and Kendra understands his feelings as a wife and a mother, but look, she's a businesswoman, and unless he can give her an out that saves face, she expects him to live up to the terms of the contract that he signed. At the drive-in that evening, Adele, who's the other board member, lets the cat out of the bag to Sadie that the vote has been made to approve the sale. Sadie is crushed and angry with Holden. And the next night, Holden invites Sadie back to the drive-in. The town people show up when they see the lights and all the other stuff. Well, anyway, so I guess the drive-in truly has become the central place in town. Now, Mrs. Mendoza makes a comment while she's there that the attorney who represented her in her case was suggested by the company that bought the land. Well, that's a conflict of interest, people. And in legal terms, that means you have an out. Anyway, the next day, the announcement is made that the distribution center is going to be built, but it's going to be built on the Mendoza farm, and that the rest of the farm is going to become the Mendoza Family Park. The drive-in is saved. Sadie and Holden meet at the truck that they were supposed to meet at all those years ago. Kissy kissy, drive-in makeout with a side of popcorn. Look, Great American Family has another solidly good movie in their 2020 premieres, thanks to the great acting of Danica McKellar, who was also a producer of this movie. Now look, I had some real problems with some of the things of the storyline, such as the background story of what happened to Sadie and Holden all those years ago. And this sleepy little town that's been losing business has a place that seems to have this place that could churn out personalized Christmas ornaments in an hour. I'm sorry, that's just not possible. And look, in the drive-in itself, I mean, the people in this town have the resources to come see a movie every night. Look, my wife and I go see a movie. If tickets would be $30 plus another $20 for popcorn and drinks. And look, this is right before Christmas. I mean, people need to go shop, attend school plays, or go to office Christmas parties or things like that. I mean, Anyway, look, I will say it was nice to hear actual background music that more fit the atmosphere of the movie and the scenes, and not some droll piano track like we've had on other Great American Family movies. It really does make a difference. Now, while overall this movie does make my worth a watch list, if I were ranking just Great American Family movies, it would be a must watch. My number 5 movie was I'm Glad It's Christmas, which aired Saturday, 11/25 on Great American Family. Now, Chloe Bose has been auditioning for a role in a Broadway show for several years now. And bundled up to protect her voice and carrying a basket of ornaments, she runs into a man, spilling the contents in the basket on the ground. Well, while she's cleaning that up, Mrs. Belger, who's the store manager at the gift shop that Chloe works at when she's not auditioning, finds her and the mess and tells her she's late opening the store. Now at the store, Chloe begins singing while she's working, and that causes everyone to stop. Mrs. Berger tells her, look, you gotta quit doing this because it's distracting and taking away from sales. Now, how the hell is that distracting and taking away from sales? People are coming to her store the store to hear her sing. Don't you think they're probably buying some, I don't know, whatever it is they sell, knickknacks they sell in the store? Anyway, Chloe kills the audition that she goes to later that day, but she loses the role because she's told that she's too short. Well, anyway, as the store at the gift shop, Santa arrives at the store as the store is closing, and he needs to pick up a gift for his daughter that needs to go to school with her daughter tomorrow to give to the teacher. Well, it turns out that Santa is Jason Murphy, who is the guy that she ran into on the street. So Jason is a jingle writer. And this lady named Cora shows up at the store. Now, again, this is after closing, but I guess the doors are unlocked. Let's just have the whole neighborhood come in. But anyway, she comes in and she requests that Chloe and Jason come to her office tomorrow. So the next day, they just show up, and Cora tells them that she wants to revive the Christmas lane that it used to be here in the neighborhood, and the Christmas extravaganza. And she wants Jason to run the show, and she wants Chloe to sing. Chloe declines because she's got work and she's got auditions to do that. Now, even after telling her that they'll work around her schedule, Chloe just can't do it. I mean, Chloe gave herself 5 years to make it in New York, and she's got 5 auditions left before the clock runs out, and she has to go back to Detroit. So after losing a bet with her roommate, Christine, Chloe has to have dinner with Jason. Now, they admit that they like each other, but again, Chloe doesn't know what her future is going to be, so she doesn't know if she wants to get involved. Well, she loses out on some more auditions because she's either too short, too tall, too young, or too old. You know, this is a tough business. Anyway, Cora comes to the store and asks her to go and do a favor and pick up something for her. Well, the place that she ends up is Jason's studio apartment, where she meets Jason's daughter, Nicole. And Jason has written a song for her, which she loves, and now has agreed to sing at the show. Jason shows up to get Chloe for rehearsal one day, and the store is packed, and she can't go. So Jason pitches in to help her. So at rehearsal later that evening, they almost kiss, but they are interrupted by a phone call for Chloe. Big-time Broadway producer Cassandra Rogers wants her to come and personally audition for her after Christmas. Now, at a different rehearsal and at another day, Cora thinks, look, hey, they sing, you know, Jason and Chloe, they sing really nice together, but they don't sing from the heart. Well, Cora, who is the awesome Gladys Knight, shows Chloe and Jason how to sing from the heart as she sings, I think it was Joy to the World. Anyway, so look, from this point on in the movie, I got a little lost here. I mean, so they said that the show was the next day, and Jason asked Chloe out to dinner the next day. I mean, aren't they supposed to be at the show? Anyway, so look, if I've missed something, please give me some comments in this video and let me know, because I still haven't figured out what's going on. Anyway, so Chloe's audition, of course, got pushed up to 5 p.m. tomorrow, the day of the show, and the day of the date. So now she's got an audition in the city, she's got a show to do in New Jersey, and a dinner date. Girl better put her walking shoes on. Anyway, Chloe tells Cora and Jason about the rehearsal, and not knowing what to do because she can't do both, Cora fires her from the show, telling her that this is her big chance and she needs to take it. Now, Chloe goes to the audition in the city, but stops at the entrance. And then we cut away back to the extravaganza where Cora opens with a rousing version of Go Tell It on the Mountain. And then they do the show, and then Cora and Jason get ready to sing, and Chloe appears and comes out and sings in the second verse, and then they all close out the song together. So Chloe tells Cora and Jason, look, that she bailed on the audition because she didn't want to get the show and not have to leave Jason. Now, Mrs. Rogers, who happened to see her performance online, just calls and offers her the role right there on the phone. And during that call, Mrs. Rogers tells Chloe that a call from Miss Cora didn't hurt. So it seems that Cora evidently was given a call back to Mrs. Rogers' first ever Broadway show. And while she did the show, she gave up the life after the show to raise a family. So ultimately, Jason and Cora, kissy kissy, bravo, bravo. So this is another solid Great American Family movie with talent that they took from the Hallmark group. And it doesn't hurt having the Empress of Soul, Gladys Knight, involved in the project as well. Now look, while the story was a little rushed in places, I did enjoy it overall. And, well, okay, look, I mean, Jessica Lowndes is gorgeous. And once again, though, she shows us that she's more than just a pretty face. I mean, this girl can flat out sing. Now, she ain't Gladys Knight singing, but she can hold her own, and we get to see her showcase her abilities in this movie. So as for Paul Green, well, let me tell you in Lisa's words, that man is a total Hallmark hunk. Now look, if he asked me out, well, sorry babe, but we will not be singing karaoke on our date. Okay, so Paul Green does actually write and sing songs along with acting, but look, his high voice, it just didn't work for me either. But you know, honestly, when you're singing in a movie with Jessica Lowndes and Gladys Knight, kind of hard to stand out, you know what I mean? Anyway, with so many music people involved in this movie, it's not surprising that we had a great music background throughout the movie. I mean, I really enjoyed the opening credits song. And you can tell that GAF knows where to spend the money, and that's on the movies with the proven draws. Let's just hope that they continue to up their game and improve their music in all of their movies. Now look, if these movies make you want to do high kicks with a dance troupe or write a Christmas song, then give me a thumbs up. And to hear my top 4 movies for the weekend or previous weekends, subscribe to my channel and ring the bell to be notified when a new video drops. Hey, this is John, and you've been watching The Real Man Rom-Com Review.